Hello, YouTube chess fans. This is hbeck, and welcome to episode 2 of Daily Blitz. Today is it is officially Thursday, February 2nd. Happy Groundhog Day. Apparently, we have 6 more weeks of winter. Groundhog saw his shadow. If you believe in such things, I'm not sure. Not sure if I believe in them. Okay. Well, I'm hoping to redeem myself after yesterday's poor performance. One thing we're going to do differently for these shows where I only play one game is we're going to increase the game from 3 minutes to 5. Give me a little more time to talk and hopefully play a little bit better. We'll keep the increment at 2 seconds though. Alright, let's get going. Searching for an opponent. It's taking a little bit longer today. Maybe because we have a custom time control. I should be able to play whatever time control I want to play. I don't understand why they pressure you to play these fixed ones. Okay. Who shall we play? Who shall it be? Is there anybody out there rated between 1686 and 2086 on chess.com, Blitz, who wants to play a game? Who wants to play? Anybody? Maybe I should play 5-5 or 5-0. So I think 5-second increments are just kind of ridiculous, kind of too long. All right, we got another game of black against Mr. Ganador 12 from Spain. Who might not be here. Game will auto abort. 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that was frustrating. New game. Stop wasting my time, Mr. Ganador 12. Wonder what happened there. Clicked on my challenge and then took a nap. 4 minutes into our video and we still don't have a game started. Am I talking funny? Might be talking funny. Should stop it. This is a serious show. It's a serious chess. Serious, super serious chess. Okay, Mr. Jacob 68 from Indonesia, and we have a Dutch defense. My bread and butter, E4, Staunton Gambit. Black is supposed to equalize with best play. Knight C6. C6 is also a main move. Now this knight's going to go to F7 via via e5 if he plays d5. Bishop c4 is a little unusual. Yeah, it's a little unusual. I guess his point is if I play d5, he does bishop takes f6. He takes f6, and then queen h5 check, picking up the d5 pawn. If I play e6, then he plays d5. e6, d5, knight e5 hits the bishop, though. Okay, let's do that. It's probably the main idea. Thought for a minute on that move. It's too long. He does do this. Okay. Bishop e7, just develop. Prepare to castle. Knight f7, attacking his bishop. This is a little bit, this seems, he should probably take first. I guess he's going to play queen takes e4. Okay. Now he's got 3 things on our e-pawn. We only have 2. But I think the correct move is just the castle. And that way we can play rook e8. He can't take yet, because his king is lined up with his queen on the e-file. Now it isn't, so he is threatening to do so. Threatening to take. Can I push? I want to play d6 next and have a solid pawn chain from e5 to c7. I want to play a little bit faster too. Already down over a minute on the clock. Let's redevelop our knight. I'm not going to take that h4 pawn. Well, I can't even, he's protecting it twice. But even if he was protecting only once, if his queen were somewhere else, I still wouldn't take it because it would open up the h-file against my king. Why am I even commenting on that kind of garbage? He stops my f5 stuff. Knight on g3, you play g6, but then there's h5. Play knight g4. Just bishop d7 maybe. Maybe just knight g4. Not sure. Bishop d7 might have been the more patient approach. Just developing. You want to develop all your pieces. You want to use all of them. But I have this idea, maybe I actually am threatening there. This might be a little risky, but I'll do it. Now he has to do pawn takes, I think. Bishop f5. That was a strong knight. I think we have to get rid of it. Am I going to get checkmated this game? Everyone wants to know. Covering h1 at least. That's good. I have sort of a threat of bishop f3. Queen f6. Some useful moves. Does he walk into one of them? Oh yeah, he can defend if a check, of course. This doesn't work yet. Taking on h7 doesn't work yet, I don't think. Well, maybe he has a perpetual that way. Check. Bishop g4. I could have taken on g3. I want to go after his back rank. I'm also attacking here. He has to take, and then I'll bring my other rook into play. Oh, he resigned. Okay, I think this is premature. Premature resignation on his part. Yeah, that was definitely premature. So his queen's under attack. His rook's under attack. Oh, I know why he resigned. I can't believe it, actually. Wow. His queen's trapped. Look at that. Wow, you don't see that every day. Queen trapped on e6. So after rook takes, he can't go to e5, obviously. e7, it's covered by the queen. e8 is covered by the rook. This bishop has all the squares on this diagonal. Yeah, and there's nothing to do except maybe a desperado like rook takes h7, and then the queen's still trapped. So yeah, just winning. My instincts were correct here. I didn't think too long about the last couple moves, just a few seconds. But yeah, glad I found this. A little bit of luck involved, I guess. Let's analyze this game. Just quickly, let's I know what I should do. I discovered this yesterday. You know, we had this trouble flipping the board. Well, it turns out if I go to like my archive, right? Completed games archive. It's just, you know, I mean, this is much easier to analyze here. We can open up analysis board. And we have Stockfish running. That's what I was wondering, like, how to get that yesterday. Right-click moves to add comments. I don't need to add comments, but we'll just talk about it. So, yeah, standing Gambit, the main line goes like this, and yeah, you're supposed to play d5, and it goes d5, knight e7. Queen e2 is a good move. Queen d4 is also good. Yeah, and they do. You can play h4 here. Actually, it's quite interesting. Protecting your bishop, and you want black to take so you can get your pawn on g5 and open up the h file. I think they do typically just take. And now you can do either queen takes or knight takes. Usually white should try to keep the queens on the board. Black's development is a little bit awkward with this pawn on f6, and white has a space advantage with this pawn on d5, so white should be trying to attack. It'll be hard for black to develop this bishop without weakening this e6 square too much. f6 is usually not a good move, but you know, in certain openings, like it's necessary. Like here. And black is fine, but it's definitely riskier for black than for white. Yeah. And so that's like the main line. Bishop c4 is a move I'm not familiar with. I think I responded to it reasonably well. Yeah, and so you can see Stockfish here actually likes d5, which I kind of felt like d5 was the thematic move, but I was worried about bishop takes, and then I can't do e takes queen h5, but Stockfish says you just take the bishop on c4, so let's look at that. Take, and then you take here. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't take there. You take. Yeah, because if you take here, just like I said during the game, queen h5 picks up this pawn. Or he just picks it up the direct way, I suppose. Yeah, but then d takes c4 is interesting. And now this I was not in the mood to calculate during the game. Like, his bishop is on f6. I don't have an f pawn. My king's not castled yet. I don't have I have to move a pawn before I can develop this bishop. Just felt like very not a normal position to play. And I like normal positions. I play a Dutch defense, but otherwise I usually like normal positions. Yeah. So I mean he moves the bishop somewhere. Here protects d4. Yeah, and you could probably go long castle route here. This is pretty common for the standing gambit. Black plays bishop f5 and then long castles. Take. Yeah, and trading queens also maybe liquidates some of the pressure. Now black should be just fine. He can play bishop f5, e6, bishop e7, swing a rook to the d file. And yeah, he's got the two bishops, and otherwise pretty... Well, let's see. Black will probably not hang on to both these pawns. He'll probably lose one. And after he loses one, the material will be even, but he'll have the bishop pair. I think you gotta like black here. I think you gotta. Yeah, that's interesting. I should remember that in case someone plays bishop c4. e6 is not unreasonable, though. I don't think it is. e5, knight e5, bishop e3. Computer likes c6. c6 makes some sense. Attacking on d5, making white, capture. Where did I play? Bishop e7. I think you can't complain about a developing move. But yeah, I mean, computer doesn't like it. Computer does not like it. I think mainly he doesn't like the position after d takes, queen takes d8, bishop takes d8, and black is stuck with this isolated e pawn. Yeah, I guess you can't really argue too much of that. Still only a slight edge to white, I'm sure. c6 is interesting. Yeah, if queen d4, then you play knight f7. This is important to notice. If you take this pawn, you capture towards the center, strengthening your center. Black has a really nice pawn center then. But if you take this way, you actually don't retake, and then you push your pawn, and now black again has this really nice pawn center. And then he's gonna grab this guy pretty soon. You know, this bishop will take it. Yeah, arrows. Yeah. That was a good idea. C6 also should remember this move. Alright, bishop e7, developing, knight f7. He should have gone for this endgame, I think, but now black is just fine. I took back his pawn, and you castle. Okay. And again, he should isolate my pawn by capturing, but knight ge2. I mean, okay. Now I can avoid having this weak pawn. Computer likes e takes d5. Yeah, and then you have a 4-on-3 and a 3-on-2, wide open position. And in this wide open position, you have the bishop pair. So you should probably like that. Plus, you get rid of this pawn on d5. This pawn on d5, when I pushed past, it did control e6, which later on he could have used. I mean, he ended up putting his queen there with check, but yeah. I could see how this being, but again, I guess I was being not really. I was trying to play like too simple. Like I was shying away from complications. This sort of appears to me kind of like a complication because it lets one of his pieces like move forward up the board. It's not really a complication, but it has the appearance to be. And then so I got to be careful of not like avoiding it in Blitz. Okay, e5 I thought was maybe too clever. Another way you could make an argument against e5 is, okay, you can play e5, you can get this structure, but was it worth it? Like, you're just being kind of really clever, and yeah, being clever usually backfires. Actually, here he had a very strong move. He had d6, stopping me from playing d6. This is something I missed. Now, what I missed was my knight is pinned to the king. So I can't retake with the knight, and that means my structure gets damaged. And now there is an issue here. This light square is very weak, and it's hard for black to develop this bishop. It takes a couple moves. He has to play like rook b8, b6. Yeah. You gotta like white now. But my opponent didn't do this. Just long castled. Let me play d6. Now, okay, he's opposite side castling. He's going to try to checkmate me. My knight serves no purpose on f7, so I get it out of the way of my rook. And now that he's played h4, he's weakened the g4 square. So we're gonna try to hop our knight in there. Knight g3. Okay. You know, he wants to play knife f5. In the words of Ben Feingold, knife f5. It's always a good idea to put your knight on f5, or if you're black, put it on f4. Yeah, here, yeah, knight g4 was correct. Bishop d7 would have been too slow. I was right to just force him to go on the defensive. Ah, now here I missed a very simple tactic. A very simple tactic. Pause the video and see if you can solve it, and don't look over here. Well, you can't really avoid that, so I guess it's pointless to ask you to pause the video. Anyway, I missed a very simple tactic, and knight takes f2 anyway, because of the rook. The rook on the f-file, he can't take, because if he takes, then I can check him, and the rook then can take the queen. Yeah, so this would have won a pawn, and a very important pawn at that. It also forks the two rooks, winning the exchange. I would have just been winning here. Well, that's unfortunate that I didn't spot that. I should. That's a two mover. You got to spot these two movers in Blitz. Okay, so I played like the greedier move, not as good, but wins a pawn. And I correctly saw after knight e4 that, see, again I missed the idea of playing knight takes f2 because this knight's overworked. it has to guard both this and that. So knight takes f2, knight takes, he would take on g3, and that wins a pawn. And now the bishop can come to f4, which is and control all the dark squares. There won't be any attack then. Yeah, knight takes f2 is right. The move I played is not quite as accurate, but I still like black. Bishop f5, getting the last piece into the game. And I already had this idea of taking on e4 and taking on g2. Even though my bishop guards my knight, if I take his knight and take on g2, I will have won a pawn. Yeah, rook h4. Now he wants me to just have to retreat my knight. And probably after knight f6, knight takes, queen takes, I'm just better. My bishop is outside the pawn chain, his is blocked by his pawn. And I have play on the f-file. Yeah, that would have been reasonable. But I wanted it all. So I took. Yeah. Now he plays the only move that doesn't allow knight f2, obviously. Oh, he could play rook takes. Rook takes might have been interesting. Rook takes. And his queen doesn't get in, really. Yeah, he wants to activate his queen, even at the expense of this pawn. Bishop takes g2. Yeah, now black's is much better. Rook h2. Bishop f3. And queen e6. Okay, so king h8, not the best move. Rook f7, apparently. Okay. What to think about that? Yeah, I mean the king on the h-file is a little dangerous because this pawn is under attack by the rook, and there are potentially sacrifices. Rook takes h7, followed by the other rook. Well, can't really do that, but maybe he can bring the queen back to the h-file. Yeah, and actually king h8, so rook f7 would have been more accurate. King h8, he had an interesting try. He could have played queen g6. Interesting. Very interesting. Now he's got this lethal threat on h7. How to defend that pawn. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can't really defend it other than moving it. If I move to h6, he has rook takes, g takes, queen takes, with at least a perpetual. Yeah, computer likes h5 then. Huh. And I guess with this bishop and protecting the pawn, you're kind of holding down the fort. And you have... No, you don't really have queen g5 checks anymore. But if he plays g4, you could push it to h4 because of your queen. Yeah, but you got to be a little nervous still as black. G5 attempting to win this pawn doesn't really work because of rook f4. But he has this queen h5 check. Yeah. He can still take it. Okay. Well. Yeah, but rook f1 is maybe a decisive mistake then. Because this was all forced. What does computer say? Computer says -6. So yeah, that's just completely winning. Black takes everything. Queen g5. Followed by bishop g4. Yeah, and I didn't realize it right away, but his queen is trapped. So that's all she wrote. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Daily Blitz with hbeck. I'm going to an over the board tournament starting tomorrow, so there won't be episode 3 won't come out until Monday at the earliest. So look for that. Okay. This is hbeck signing off.